the reality. If there's no such thing as the devil, then where does all the bad shit come from? How many times have I been asked that? The answer is simple. The reason nobody's ever been able to answer that is because they never go far enough back in history to answer it properly. They always stop. They always stop along the way at different points in times that they either love or resent the most. Because the truth is much harsher than that. And it requires you to go all the way back to the beginning. The most vulnerable and sensitive time of them all. The Stone Age. That moment in time where humanity was at its most innocent. A newly evolved child. A blank canvas. Now, many people would get offended and start going on their fucking mass hate mission. But all that fucking proves is that, well, my point. That's all it proves. Because to understand the Stone Age, you've got to understand your own childhood. What it felt like to be a child. That innocence. Worshipping your parents. Every step they took. To understand the Stone Age, you got to remember that feeling. And then when you're ready to look back that far in your own life, without feeling insecure, you'll be ready to understand the Stone Age. Because this is a world shaped by the events that happened back then. What happened? Humanity evolved from animals and started thinking differently to an animal. Why am I here? Why can't I sense nature anymore? What the fuck's going on? When this happened, humanity split apart into two different directions. Not because Loki made them do it or because Satan exists. None of that is real. It's just a fucking excuse for a fucking brat so it doesn't have to take responsibility for its own stupidity. This moment in evolution's path, when humanity evolved from animals, the hardships it faced, dogs befriended humanity, became man's best friend. A guiding fucking light in the fucking darkness of, well, their day-to-day lives. Being different from everything else. Not understanding why some manage to succeed in living together in balance and harmony with life. Small communities, small families of people living off the land together. But then there was another kind of person that evolved. The entitled brat. Now, what triggered this? Well, if anyone has ever suffered with mental health issues, depression especially, you'd know. Now, during this time period, the Ice Age happened. It was a hard life. People had to scavenge for food. Some were more successful than others. This birthed egos in some that succeeded, and resentment in others who didn't. As the Ice Age began to end, catastrophe started to strike. Landscapes started to change. Food became more plentiful. And for a little while, humanity started settling down. But then, catastrophe struck. And areas where they began to settle after the Ice Age ended began to change so dramatically that it changed the landscape entirely. They expanded fucking outwards, settling different corners of the world. But as they did, things changed. As the landscape started changing and the ice started to melt, continents started to shift and change. Landscapes, tsunamis, sinking landmass beneath the waves where people had settled. Landscapes like Doggerland, which once connected the UK to Europe. The people that settled that area sank beneath the waves. Britain was cut off from Europe and became the landmass that everybody wanted to reconnect to. The people that lived in those times, having lost family and friends, some wanted to reach those shores to reconnect with the people that they'd lost. And over time, these things got forgotten. Dreams were established in those times that founded empires. Passed down to generation after generation. The resentment included the resentment at having lost loved ones to nature's fury, began to create religions centered around the success of humanity, with different tyrants emerging as gods among men, punishing all those who dared love and respect nature. The tyrant. The mental fucking trauma of witnessing the landscape changing and loved ones dying made them swear an oath to punish anything that would dare be loyal to such a monster. And as time went by, the trauma was passed down from generation to generation until people forgot what birthed it to begin with. Stopping off at different points in history based on the fucking barbarity of it. Rape, pillage, burn. Rape, pillage, burn. With people creating fictional gods, excuses to justify their brutality because the reason behind it was forgotten. That moment when you meet something or someone who grates on you, inspires so much hatred. Satan's not real. All it is a choice humanity made in the beginning of time. That choice became the rift that separated people onto two different paths. The hateful and traumatized who wished harm on everything that succeeded in living together in balance and harmony with nature, and those who loved nature despite of its brutality. And the people who lived together with nature won. The heart of those who didn't love nature's beliefs passed down from generation to generation until people forgot why they hated nature so much. And they put it into the god complex of those who founded hordes to follow them into battle. These charismatic fucking people that hated nature so much, that were so fucking good at their warrior fucking deeds. Won the right to lead the horde, passing on their resentment and hatred to their masses, to hate nature. This ancestor worship evolved into worshipping these people as divine beings. That ultimately got labelled Satan. And the reality is, all they were people that hated nature. Not gods. That's why all their books are full of excuses as to why it's okay to act like a fucking entitled brat. But the reality is, you can figure this out for yourself if you just stopped letting them encourage you. If you stopped letting them encourage you to stop off at their favourite points in history when their ego was getting the biggest stroke of their existence, you'd make it all the way back to that moment in time when humanity broke. The trauma of witnessing a landscape changing before them. The instincts that they would have had as an animal that would have warned them of this kind of thing happening, beginning to diminish, preventing them from realizing that they just settled in a place that was destined to be destroyed by a tidal wave. Witnessing these things from atop a hilltop, realizing that your entire family has just been wiped out in a matter of minutes. The hatred and anger born from those moments became the center of their entire religion. Were the special people destined to destroy the evil goddess of nature. And shape the world in something more worthy of them. Each generation losing sight of the reality of what caused the birth of their belief system. As more time passed, the more people lost sight of what caused it. Wars. Why war became more and more normal. But it takes a traumatized mind to understand trauma. That's why book believers never get it right. Because all they do is brainwash themselves. They don't live their belief systems. "20 fucking minutes and I've already answered your fucking questions." Something you could have done yourself if you were willing to face reality. This is just speculation. No, it's not. It's not like these things don't happen in the modern fucking world. I mean, for fuck's sake. Did Comic Relief not do a fundraiser for the victims of the fucking tsunami in Asia? Did anyone speak to those victims to ask them fucking how it felt? To witness everything. Everything you knew disappear in a matter of minutes. Now you're fucking telling me that trauma has changed over the fucking centuries. That because fucking, because we don't live all the way fucking back in that fucking moment when it first happened, that it's the fear is any different. It is different, but not fucking because it's a different feeling. It's different from back then and only in one way. And then, humanity had never experienced it before. This was a lot more terrifying. These days, ever since that happened, every generation has been warned to be weary of nature. Don't do this, don't do that. Nature will punish you for it. Even fucking when people experience these things and nowadays, it comes fucking in a moment that they're least expecting it. But they're not completely ignorant to the possibility. And like then, they were fucking terrified because they'd never witnessed it before. That trauma gave birth to all the psychotic fucking belief systems of those who believed themselves entitled to control the world. All those terrorized into submission to either become their slaves or their vassals. Forced to abandon everything that they knew. Or die. When witnessing somebody stubborn enough to tell them to fuck off anyway. And winning the right to live together with life. Oh, Loki made me do it. Quick, ram a pedestal up their backside. With the entitled fucking saying, "You're now our new High King." With every single one of them saying, "I don't want to be, I just want to live together with nature." Oh, the worthy never want it. No, because it's not the fucking reason we ever told you to fuck off to begin with. It's as simple as, you're in my face, get the fuck out of it. But the ways of tyranny always insist on replacing their high kings with the victors. More preferable to repenting their sins. Now it's too late. There's nowhere left to run. Every continent is overpopulated. Nature's children have been massacred in every corner of the fucking world, or forced to adapt to the fucking presence of something that goes against everything they believe in. And the hatred, anger, and resentment born from those times is more potent than ever. Because all the promises that these people fucking made along the way of, join me and you'll be richly rewarded, rewards that they could never fulfill. Because there was never enough wealth or resources to shower everyone in the rich, privileged lifestyle that they centered their entire existence around. Of celebrating their superiority to nature and her children. Creating traditions that required the followers, the believers in this bullshit to massacre something until it was extinct, realizing, we're going to have to find something else to butcher now. Or clinging to trinkets of conquest, like jewels, and then realizing that there wasn't enough to go around for all the believers that they had. And with this build up, erupting into war after war after war, because they kept making promises they could never keep. But there's a lot more to it than that. You don't need to tell me that. I've seen it. But there's only so many words. So much words can describe before you have to experience it for yourself. And only a traumatized fucking mind can understand a moment of trauma. So yeah, not everyone will understand. Anyone who fucking wishes for their fucking kids to be traumatized just so that they can fucking understand that fucking initial fucking moment when humanity broke is a cunt. But humanity is going to become the victim of its own wish. Whether it likes it or not. Because all their gods are born from their own egos of superiority to life itself. And the only one out of all of them that's genuine is nature. Don't try to understand me, fool. Believe me when I say you will live to regret it. The looking up to people is what children do. Yes, it is. But what you look up to is centered around what you believe in. Many children, to this day, the rift between humanity and the natural world is bigger than ever. And what you believe in tends to dictate what you look up to. What do you see when you look at me? A crazy person. A brave person. A victim. An inspiration. A lonely, tired person. Someone that's fucking content to, well, live the life they choose. What you look up to is always dictated by your beliefs. And true. I embody every single fucking one of them. But what I choose to fucking be. This is what people expect me to be. And not always the same thing. I am not religious, and I never will be. My love is for the natural world and the natural world only. Humanity can go fuck itself. It would never do fucking anything for humanity's sake. Only the natural worlds. And the only people I give a fucking shit about helping are those that share my beliefs. The reality of the psychotic fucking belief systems of the delusional bastards that centered their entire belief system around their egos. It's always going to end the same way. With them having to live the consequences of their own stupidity. Instead of accepting the reality of why nature chooses balance over everything. There is no saviour coming to save you. There's just going to be an angry fucking person, sick and fucking tired of an entitlement complex. He's going to butcher every single faggot that gets in his face. And the only fucking people who are going to be saved by such a being are the people that grow a fucking spine to fight by his side. Because you can't save a slave. It's the copy and paste mentality of its master. And it'll always do everything it can to stop itself from being the one that suffers. Even if it's betraying their own. The criminals are in chains because they don't agree with the dictator. The slaves have been programmed to agree with the dictator. And the ones that were never able to be brainwashed got killed. And that's the harsh reality that people have never been able to accept. They look at people in chains and they see no difference between the criminal and the slave, thinking that they're both the same thing. They're not. The criminal can be saved. The slave is already dead. Everything that person could have been was destroyed the day their parents either gave them away or the day their parents were murdered. Then they got programmed by a dictator, and you cannot save a slave. No matter how fucking much you want to convince your fucking self. The slave will aim to please its master. Think of Theon Greyjoy on fucking Game of Thrones. The only fucking reason he even managed to come back was because of Sansa. Now imagine children who had been taken from their families before they were capable of even fucking creating that kind of bond. You can't save them. They're bonded to their master. And everything they are, psychologically, is what their master desires. And they aim to please, just like Reek. And the only reason Theon was saved is because there was already a bond formed before Ramsay destroyed his mentality. If you try to form one after fucking that break, they'll just do what Theon did. Did I please you, master? And their aim will fucking be to rise through the ranks until they reach a privileged position where they get to be the master. Can't save a slave. It's the criminals that were always the ones that got saved, not the slaves. Because they were only in fucking chains because they opposed the master, not because they agreed with him. The ones that agree are there because they're a threat that need to earn the privilege of rising through the ranks. And the ones that are a criminal are an example. These are the realities you need to come to terms with if you truly want to see an end to terrorism. Because it's on its last legs, making one final push to control the world. Which is, like every other push, is destined to fail because nothing intelligent grants fucking ultimate power to a fucking retard. That can't even comprehend the reality of its own belief systems. You think you're so much better than me. I am better than you. Because unlike you, I make sense. The difference between humility and arrogance is a very simple distinction. Arrogance can't back up its mouth. It just believes itself to be entitled, even though it cannot prove anything. Whereas the humble know their capabilities and always preach what they can practice. Why do you think the saying goes? That it's in the most desperate times that you get to see people's true selves. It's because a terrorist always preaches what it can't fucking practice. And just fucking because it likes to rape children and all that crap doesn't fucking mean it'll put its fucking life on the fucking line for Allah. That's what its slaves are for.